So I don't know how many of you know this, but there's actually a Star Trek convention at a nearby hotel. And for me, I'm kind of a big nerd, so it's a tough thing. Should I come here and speak, or should I go to the Star Trek convention? It's a tough call, but I'm here. And another reason that the Star Trek convention has such a draw is it's Leonard Nimoy's final convention. Spock's going to hang up the pointy ears, and it'd be nice to meet him. But that's okay. I'm grateful that you've come to hear me today instead of go to see Spock, go to the Star Trek convention. On the other hand, I think that in some strange way, Spock might be proud of all of us for being here today. After all, when I look at the people in this room, you're all here to help other people, I think. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today. First of all, though, I want to do a survey. I've admitted that I'm a nerd. I want to know how many of you are nerds. Anybody out there a nerd? Okay, that's good to see. How many of you like Star Trek? All right, excellent. And how many of you know the Vulcan motto? Anyone? All right. Well, no, not live long and prosper. I'm thinking of infinite diversity and infinite combinations. And I think that's the reason Spock would be proud of this, really, is what we have here is we've got a very diverse group. We've got basically 280 different people, 280 different ideas of how to write about personal finance. And the idea behind infinite diversity and infinite combinations is that from all these different ideas, all these different types of people, we're able to draw strength and become more than just the sum of our parts. And so I think it's having this diversity of backgrounds that strengthens our community, having 280 different voices in the personal finance blogging sphere. And we're not even the entire population. That makes us a strong community and helps us help other people. And so let's talk about that for a minute. I want to talk about what are our goals when we write about personal finance. What are our goals when we're writing about money on the internet? I think we each have individual goals, that's for sure. But I think that we kind of have some similar overall goals. I want to do a quick survey. I want some volunteers. I want to know, tell me, why do you write about money? Why do you write a personal finance blog? Anyone? Yes?
Because I think I learned a lot, like a lot of things.
Excellent, excellent. Anyone else? Why do you write it? Yes?
I don't want people to end up where I'm at. I don't want them to.
Excellent. That's awesome. Yes?
Hold yourself accountable.
Hold yourself accountable. That's brilliant. Okay. Dawn?
Because after hitting bottom in midlife, I wanted to let people know that you could actually go deeper. But that you could actually rewrite your own life and create a life you could never envision 5 years previously.
Donna says that she wants to share.
Because I can't sing or dance and it's too
And Donna says she wants to share that you can reinvent yourself, create a new life for yourself. Anyway, how many people here write at least to some degree because they like the attention, they like having an audience? Crystal does. And how about money? How many of us write because we like to make money? Oh, come on. And how many of us write because it's fun? Yeah, all right, excellent. Yesterday, as most of you know, I sat out in the lobby talking with all of you, everyone that came up. Instead of writing my speech, I was in the lobby talking to people. And these were the common threads I think that I found. People write because they're interested in fame, they're interested in the attention, they're interested in fortune. We all want to make money, and there's nothing wrong with that. And we write because it's fun. But I also think that there's a more important answer to this question: why do you write? And some of you hit on it right away. And I think the most important reason to write is for the readers. We write to help the readers. So, what I want to talk about today is putting readers first. About writing so we can help other readers. And how do we do that? I think there are 3 specific ways that we can go about helping readers that are make talking about money more effective and make it so they are able to use what we share in their lives. The first of these is through the power of story. I believe strongly in the power of story. My blog is built on the power of story, on my story and on the stories of other people. I think too much of financial writing is very dull and dry. And that's not really the fault of the authors. It's just that our subject is kind of dull and dry. I mean, writing about Roth IRAs. Is there anything exciting about a Roth IRA? What about opening a savings account? Or how much the stock market actually returns? These can be very difficult subjects to write about. I mean, come on, this makes money management seem like it's going to, sort of like going to the dentist. It makes it dull. Instead, I think we should tell stories about real life.
Harvey Sunday, you meant! Ah! Klingon,
Well, so this Klingon here, apparently we have an invader from the convention next door. Actually, this is Benny Lewis. Benny is another blogger. Benny does not write about personal finance. Benny writes about learning foreign languages. Benny, he's the Irish polyglot. His blog is fluentin3months.com. Benny, why are you in the Klingon getup? Oh, microphone, yes. That was the whole point of getting it back from Phil, wasn't it?
I'm here to learn the Klingon language, and I blog about that. I've been, I came to Chicago, I told people, I built up suspense, and I learned a little bit, but you can see me shouting insults at you, and was talking a little bit at the convention as well. I'm there because I'm passionate about it, and get to meet Spock and everybody like that.
All right, so tell us a little bit about your blog. So you're doing this, you're dressing up as a Klingon, you're talking Klingon. Why do you do it?
I've got a mission on my blog to inspire people to learn languages. I'm trying to do this in as many inventive ways as I can think of. So every 2 or 3 months, I go to a new country and I challenge myself to some very strange or crazy objective with the language. Pass a ridiculously difficult exam, or to speak with no accent so I pass off as a local, or just to generally learn the language. And people appreciate that story, and it inspires them to try and learn the language themselves.
And how effective has this been for you? I mean, have you been able to grow the site?
In just over 2 years, I'm at 200,000 unique views per month.
All right. I think that's great. So, thank you, Benny. Or Worf. This is an example to me of how a person can use story to draw readers. Until recently, I didn't have an interest in foreign languages, but I had an interest in Benny's blog. Why? Because he tells stories at his blog. He tells what it's like to learn a foreign language, what it's like to be in another country. And I think we can do that with personal finance blogs too. I think it's vital that we do it with personal finance blogs. Because when we tell stories, it helps people relate to us. When you tell a story about how you got out of debt, or how you invested for the very first time, when you tell these stories, it helps other people see you as a real human being, and it helps them relate in some way to their own lives. People see how you've dealt with things, and they say, oh, you know, I see Flexo writing about this on Consumerism Commentary, and he tells his story, and this is kind of related to my own life, and maybe I can apply this somehow to my situation. So I think the first way we can help engage readers and put readers first is by telling stories. Unfortunately, not everyone is a storyteller. There's nothing wrong with that. Not everyone can tell stories. Not everyone wants to tell stories. And what's more, not every blog lends itself to be a storytelling blog. Last night, I was talking with Mike Piper from the Oblivious Investor. And Mike writes about investing, and he was telling me, you know, I don't really have stories I can tell on my blog. It's just not the kind of blog that I can do that with. Instead, what his goal is to offer actionable advice. Every post, he asks himself, what is in this for the readers? What are the readers going to get out of it? What can they take away and use today to improve their lives? So if you can't tell stories, focus on actionable advice, things that people can use to improve their lives today, right now. The third way to improve engagement or to put readers first is to build community. And I actually think that this might be the most important of the 3 points that I'm trying to make here. Telling a story is important. It helps draw in readers. Offering actionable advice gives the readers something to do, ways to improve their lives. But building community gives them a resource that they can draw upon to share their lives, to share their stories, and to contribute to each other, improving themselves, I think. So I really believe that your blog does not belong to you. Get Rich Slowly does not belong to me. Get Rich Slowly belongs to the readers. If it were not for the readers, I would not have a site. It would not be there. So it's vital to create a community, an environment where people want to come and share their ideas, to read your ideas, and to provide ideas of their own to other people. Now, I'm not saying that you should allow your readers to steer the blog's content completely or have a no-holds-barred free-for-all in the comments. In fact, I'm all in favor of heavily moderating comments because I think that helps foster community. I refuse to allow unnecessarily negative comments at Get Rich Slowly because it destroys the community. It makes people want to go away. So that there are a lot of different ways to build community. At the Simple Dollar, Trent has his reader mailbags twice a week. He answers reader questions, and the readers feel like they're involved with the content production of the site. At I Will Teach You to Be Rich, Ramit uses reader-submitted content all of the time. Mike Piper told me that even though he doesn't use stories at the Oblivious Investor, it's like his entire blog is a conversation with the readers. And to Get Rich Slowly, of course, on Fridays I have Ask the Readers. Readers write in with questions, I respond, and then I open it up to other readers. And I say, share your responses, share your experiences. People love that. They also love the Sunday feature at Get Rich Slowly, which is the reader stories. In fact, this is the most popular feature at Get Rich Slowly. That people don't come to read me, they come to read all the other readers. And when I don't publish a reader story on Sunday, people get angry. And that's all right, I'm okay with that. So even big blogs like Lifehacker and Boing Boing thrive on user submissions, on reader submissions. Why? Because when you engage your readers, you create community. And when you provide actionable advice, you give readers tools they need to improve their bank balances. And when you tell stories, you make it real. When you do all of these things, you essentially have the power to change lives. And to me, this is why we write. This is why we write. It's because we can change lives. Now, I'm going to give you a few examples. I asked a few bloggers to give me some testimonials from readers. First of all, how many of you have had readers write in and say, thank you so much for doing this. If you hadn't done this, I wouldn't be able to be where I am today. Anybody? This is awesome. That's why we write it. That's why we write. It's because we can help people. We can help change their lives. Here's an example from Ramit. He has a reader named Eric who wrote, I've been reading I Will Teach You to Be Rich for 4 years. When I started, I was a recent graduate with $7,000 in credit card debt. And now I'm about to graduate from grad school with 0 credit card debt and $15,000 in savings. Thanks to everything I've applied from I Will Teach You to Be Rich. That's awesome. That's outstanding. Adam Baker at Man vs. Debt had a reader named Derek who sent this email. Since June of this year, I've been able to pay off my personal credit card and an old business credit card, my fiance's upside-down car loan. I'll have my car paid off by Christmas and will then start attacking student loans and my business loan. I read your blog to keep me on track and keep me motivated. It helps keep my eye on the target and keeps me fired up to wage a war on debt. I hate it, and it's holding me back from pursuing all the things I'd love to do with my life. So thank you for taking this on. You're having a huge impact on my life. And when I send in that final payment, which could be within 2 to 3 years if I continue to do well in sales, I'm going to buy you a beer. And John from Free Money Finance had a reader send him this. Thanks to you and your website, I had a recent positive experience and I thought you might appreciate it. I've lived in the same duplex and have been a very good tenant for about the last 2 years. I was looking at my budget for ways to cut expenses and decided to call my landlord and ask for a discount, considering I was doing just about everything else I could in other areas. I figured he could only say no. But he called back and said he'd take it $50 off per month for a month-to-month or $100 if I signed a year-long contract. Yippee! I don't think I ever would have done something like this before I started reading your website. So thank you. This is why we write. We write to help other people achieve their financial goals. And by doing so, I think we help ourselves achieve our own financial goals. I want to share with you another thought from Star Trek. At the end of Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, the best of all the Star Trek movies, our heroes have defeated the genetically modified 20th century madman Khan Noonien Singh, but the Enterprise has been mortally wounded. It's going to explode. Everybody's going to die. But Spock rushes down to the engine room, to the engineering, and he goes into this sealed room where there's like a flux capacitor or whatever it's called. And I know I'm mixing up my shows. But by doing so, Spock exposes himself to a lethal dose of radiation. He saves the Enterprise, but he himself is going to die. And as he's lying there on the floor of the engineering bay, dying, Captain Kirk asks Spock why he did this. And Spock says, "Logic clearly dictates that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one." For him, the logical choice was to sacrifice his own life so that many other lives could be saved. Now, we're lucky. We don't have to sacrifice our lives to help other people. We don't have to choose between helping ourselves and helping our readers. We can do both. One of the things that makes personal finance blogging great is that our interests and our readers' interests are often perfectly aligned. The more we help others achieve their goals, the more we help ourselves achieve our own goals. It's my sincere hope that 10 years from now, when we all meet at Ramit's palatial mansion on Malibu Beach for FINCON11, we'll all be millionaires. But I want us to be millionaires because we've helped others meet their financial goals, and not because we've gamed Google or hawked credit card ads or done anything else that doesn't help readers directly. I think helping readers directly, that's why we write. Because of messages like the ones that I just read to you. Not to get famous and not to get rich, not because it's some sort of game. We write because by doing so we have the power to change lives, and we can help people get out of debt, and pay off their mortgages, and start new businesses. And we can even help them start new financial blogs. I love hearing stories about, oh yes, I was reading Free Money Finance, and it made me want to start my own financial blog, so I've done it. That's fantastic. There's a lot of that goes on here. It's awesome. And I think this is why we write, and this is how we can get rich slowly.